On the first day of vacation, I went to visit my professor. The professor was concerned about the big events in my life, so I jokingly asked them to introduce me to someone since I'm single. The professor nodded. Vincent, come down. Your girlfriend's here. I, Carrie, consider myself a semi-successful woman. Career success, academic success. But not so much in love. Almost 30, and still single, it's driving my mom crazy. Mom, can you set me up on dates faster? This one didn't work out, line up another for tomorrow morning and one for the afternoon. Use your network. At home, Mom dramatically sighed, claiming she's paying for sins of a past life. Honey, not being married is fine, see your dad, with his smelly feet and farts, not a man's good smelling. I interrupted her, what about the neighbor's son? Mom was so mad her teeth were grinding, he's just a college freshman. Freshman? My eyes lit up. But Mom refused. Ugh. Finding a partner is tough, tougher than graduating with a master's. After months of overtime, I finally got a few days off during vacation. And rather than let me stay at home, my parents practically pushed me out. After some thought, I decided to visit my grad school advisor. I showed up with gifts. Professor. Long time no see. He's a professor nearing 60. A bit strict, but he cares a lot about me. Carrie, welcome. Come in. No need for gifts. After some small talk, he adjusted his glasses that had slipped down his nose. Carrie, and he gave me that familiar smile. As a single woman of a certain age, I knew what was coming. How's work? What about your personal life? Found a boyfriend? I wasn't sleepy anymore. Time to strike while the iron is hot. Professor, I don't have anyone yet. Got any nice junior students to introduce? After all, I'm nearing 30 and, well, not getting any younger. No room for pride now. To my surprise, his eyes lit up. He yelled, Vincent. Come down, your girlfriend's here. I was stunned. Since when did my professor develop a sense of humor at 60? Unexpectedly, someone actually appeared on the stairs. He had long legs and fine fingers resting on the banister. I gulped, almost getting up to greet him. The man spoke with a clear and pleasant voice. Dad, what did you say? Finally, I saw the full picture. The professor's son, Vincent. At least 6 feet tall, lean and fit with a sun-kissed complexion, neat short hair. For a moment, I even thought of names for our hypothetical kids. Come, sit. The professor had us sit face to face. Carrie, you're single, he's single. Why not give it a try? I barely restrained myself from enthusiastically nodding. I mean, a handsome guy like this seems perfect. Just one catch. I looked at my plain black coat and bare face. No advantage here. Such a handsome guy probably wouldn't be interested in me. To avoid embarrassment, I jokingly replied. This isn't a grocery market. The professor clapped, a perfect match if you ask me. What do you have to lose? Vincent slightly raised an eyebrow. I'm in. The situation changed, leaving me speechless. The professor, worried I'd back out, jumped in to explain. He works with an international rescue organization, travels a bit, but otherwise great. So, what say you? If he's in, then I'm in. He's part of an international rescue team. That's like a superhero in our medical world. Before leaving, the professor handed me a thick envelope. Professor, I'm almost 30. I don't need pocket money. He raised an eyebrow. First visit from a future daughter-in-law should never be empty-handed. Take it. You. He pointed to Vincent, take her home. Before we could react, we were both ushered out the door. I was feeling a bit lost. Vincent, however, was cool about it. Want a ride? Sure. Sitting in the passenger seat, I felt dazed. Could it be this easy to find someone? But as I glanced at Vincent's side profile, I felt on edge. The envelope felt hot in my hands. Vincent probably noticed my discomfort. He smiled and shook his head lightly. My dad can be hasty, don't take it to heart. Okay, I replied quietly, feeling a bit down. What does this mean? Was he just playing along with his dad? If so, I'd better return the money. I offered him the envelope. Vincent gave me a puzzled look with his long lashes. It's for my future wife, why would I take it? Even as I got out, I was still brimming with excitement over being officially not single. I tried to act calm while exchanging contact details with Vincent, then waved goodbye. Once I walked a bit, I couldn't hold it any longer. I'm not single anymore. No longer a wallflower. Must tell everyone, my boyfriend's a total hottie. But after just a few steps, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Looking down, it was a text from Vincent. Turn around, I'm behind you. How embarrassing. I froze, mid-crazy stride. Didn't he leave? When did he show up behind me? He saw that? Heard that? You left my dad's envelope in the car. His pleasant voice drifted from above. Mortifying. Thanks. I didn't even look at him, just felt around for the envelope. When did you start following me? Vincent chuckled and slightly lowered himself to whisper in my ear. His voice tickled my ear. I've been here the whole time. Been calling out to you too. My face turned crimson, colder than the snowflakes on the ground. This time, I just stood there watching Vincent drive away before I dared to head home myself. I kicked every stone on the road out of sheer frustration. What an embarrassment. My little blooming love just sprouted a bud, and I can't let it wilt so soon, boo-hoo. As soon as I got home, Mom handed me photos of 2 men. I worked hard to get these for you. Hurry and get ready for a blind date tonight. Why's your face so red? You sick or something? I sheepishly dodged her hand. After a moment, I spoke up, Mom, I've got a boyfriend. She was stunned for a second, then waved it off disdainfully. You've had like 800 dates without success, and now you're suddenly off the market after one trip? Who'd believe that? Yeah, it's sort of unbelievable. If I hadn't experienced it myself, I'd be skeptical too. I didn't bother explaining and just went to my room. I opened a red packet and, wow, found $1,001. Can't help but think narcissistically, 1 in a million? The universe is finally being kind to me. I pulled out some cash, then hit up my 2 best friends. Let's go out tonight. Let's catch this summer tail end and feast on some crawfish. As for the blind date Mom planned? What blind date? Already forgot. At the street food place, my friends and I raised our glasses in celebration. Ladies, I'm truly off the market this time. They exchanged looks, just shook their heads. She's dreaming again, isn't she? Needs a checkup. I slammed the table, emphatically, for real. My boyfriend is handsome, as good as your husband's, if not better. I was proud, glancing at my friend's slightly round belly. Got a boyfriend, so how far can a baby be? We got so caught up in the moment, we didn't notice when the surrounding tables cleared out, leaving just a few drunks nearby. One of my friends being pregnant, I felt a bit uneasy. Let's head out. They nodded. Just as we got up, a bottle slammed onto our table. Ladies, were you rushing? Have a drink with us, said one sleazy guy with tattoos, friends in tow. We dared not refuse, gestured for help, but the boss just played dumb. With no choice, I stepped forward and smiled awkwardly. Maybe next time, it's late. We'll catch a meal together next time. My pregnant friend guarded her belly protectively. Next time? What next time? Said a tattooed guy blocking my path. You should feel honored we want to drink with you. Yeah. You ain't leaving if you don't drink tonight. People walking by noticed, but no one stepped in to help. So I shielded my friends, stepping back, but the guys closed in. One guy even lunged for me, raising his fist, reeking of alcohol. Game over. I shut my eyes, waiting for the hit. Suddenly, someone blocked my way. Ah! Shouted not me, but possibly the drunk dude? I opened my eyes, his silhouette seemed familiar, the streetlight casting a glow around him. The guy who lunged lay on the ground. Vincent? Before he could respond, the others sneered, playing hero? Think you're worthy? Another pointed at Vincent, threatening, hit my buddy? I'll beat you silly. The next second. Ow. 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 Vincent twisted the drunk's fingers, pinning them behind him awkwardly. Another guy swung a bottle at Vincent. Vincent, watch out. I screamed. Vincent just glanced sideways and side-kicked that guy in the chest. Not as tough now, huh? Vincent applied more pressure, bleaching the man's face white. I sighed with relief. Vincent, thanks. Before finishing, someone yanked my hair hard, making me scream in pain. Ha ha ha, let go of my big bro. Or else I'll. Vincent's expression turned icy, harsh enough to freeze the air. Before the guy finished, a crisp crack was heard, unmistakable above street noise. Let her go. Ha. Why should I? But as Vincent closed in, he snapped the guy's wrist with a twist. My hair was freed. Vincent swiftly dispatched the group, leaving the worst off slumped on the ground. We were all dumbfounded. In the silent night, aside from drunk groans, my silly words echoed, "My husband is so handsome." The pregnant friend was a bit shaken, went to get checked up, but thankfully, was all right. After seeing them off, I turned to Vincent. Lucky you showed up, who knows how it would have ended otherwise. My earlier outburst embarrassed me, making things awkward. Noticing my embarrassment, he brushed off my messy hair. Sure you're okay? Since we're at the hospital, wanna check just in case? I quickly shook my head. Forgot I study medicine. I can handle this. I snuck a glance at him. That hand-twisting thing of yours, practiced? Vincent chuckled, subtly covered his mouth with a fist. Been in a rescue team 5 years, picked up a few tricks. And the twisting? Forgot what my dad does? I slapped my forehead. Oh yeah. My mentor's a renowned orthopedic expert. No wonder he knows stuff. Let's get you home, Vincent offered gently. No biggie, I'll grab a cab downstairs, I replied, a tad bashful. He interjected, you called me hubby, and now you're worried about bothering me? How embarrassing. Vincent's shadow stretched long under the streetlight. After a dazed moment, I walked toward him. He naturally wrapped my hand in his, tucking it in his pocket. By the building entrance, my heart was still pounding. So, this is what it feels like to soak in a honeypot. I happily turned on the light and changed my shoes, but when I saw my mom sitting on the couch, I nearly had a heart attack. Mom! What are you doing here? She excitedly jogged over to me. How was it today? Coming home so late, did it go well? The guy I set you up with, was he nice? Oh right, there was a blind date. I had completely forgotten. My mom's smile nearly touching her ears. I didn't have the heart to burst her bubble. So, I went along with it. Anyway, it's not the first time I've had to do something like this. It was good, really good. Otherwise, would I be back at this hour? Her eyes sparkled with excitement. She wanted to know more, but I quickly dodged further questions with an excuse. Lying in bed, I saw my friends buzzing with gossip in our group chat. Carrie, where'd you find your boyfriend? He's amazing. Yeah, especially when he said, let her go, I nearly lost my mind. I put on my cool face, no choice, he was drawn to my charm. But really, I laughed and shook my head. I hit the jackpot. Someone actually wants me. The next morning, before I was fully awake, my mom came in and shook my bed. If you have a boyfriend, hurry up and date him. Get married already. I dragged myself up and aimed for breakfast. My mom chimed in, single people don't get to eat at home. Wrapped in a coat, I shivered downstairs in the late fall chill. I thought for a bit and decided to visit Vincent at the rescue team. At the entrance, I was stopped. "Hi, can't come in without permission." "What's up?" I pleaded with snacks in hand, but the guard didn't budge. Out of options, I texted Vincent. He came out quickly. "Uncle, she's with me." The guard, now understanding, said, "Here to see Vincent." "Why didn't you say so? Such a nice girl." I couldn't stop my grin. "With me." He said. "I'm with him." Laughing sheepishly, I followed him inside. And then, I was stunned. A whole lineup of muscular guys, all towering over me. Who could resist? My eyes wandered on their own. A few steps in and I walked right into a wall of muscle. Holding my sore nose, I looked up to see a slightly annoyed Vincent. He tugged my hand. "Walk straight, stop gawking." That last part was extra stern. I felt guilty. As we walked side by side, people couldn't help but stare. "I feel like we're too obvious," I said, trying to pull my hand away. Vincent just tightened his grip. "No worries, they're just jealous." Once we reached his team, there were catcalls. "Wow, is that Mrs. Vincent? Vincent, you really scored with such a pretty girlfriend." "Welcome, Mrs. Vincent." The word Mrs. made my cheeks so red. Vincent introduced me around, and we started chatting with everyone. Someone suddenly said, "With those features, Mrs. Are you a doctor or a teacher?" Everyone nodded in agreement. Impressed by their guess, I said, "Yes, I'm a doctor." They cheered loudly. I didn't really get why. "Mrs. Vincent, you're a perfect match. One saves lives, one heals them." Saved lives. I glanced at Vincent, noticing the calluses on his hands. My heart skipped a beat. After they finished their meals and returned to training, I didn't want to hold Vincent up too long, so I left. "Be safe during training, talk tonight." "Okay." Just then, Vincent straightened up, looking past me. "Hello, sir." Surprised, I mimicked him. "Hello, sir." Silence followed, and then laughter. Embarrassed, I worried if I'd made a fool of Vincent. The leader chuckled. "Whose girl is this?" Vincent replied, "She's mine, sir." Blushing, I gave the leader a shy smile. He glanced at me approvingly. "You make a good match." "Thank you, sir," Vincent and I said in unison. The crowd burst into laughter again. "When's the wedding?" the leader asked. Vincent hesitated, so I glanced at him, feeling slightly unsure. "Working on it," I mumbled. Everyone laughed heartily, even Vincent chuckled. He responded, "We'll do it soon." My heart raced. I couldn't calm it down. After work, Vincent and I decided to grab hot pot. While holding hands, I felt his calloused palm. Couldn't resist poking at them. "Is training tough?" He opened a drink and handed it to me. "It's hard, but not sweating means bleeding." I nodded thoughtfully, recalling the fire years ago when I was alone in another city. A massive blaze engulfed the whole mall. Driven by my duty as a doctor, I helped many elders and kids escape. But just as I was about to leave, the mall door collapsed, trapping me. The smoke was suffocating, the fire intense. I almost couldn't hold on. Before I passed out, I saw rescue team members pulling me to safety. Their bravery left a deep impression on me. They truly are heroic, going against danger. Vincent's voice shook me from my thoughts. "What are you thinking about?" Meeting his eyes, I grasped his hand tighter. "Just you. Be careful during your missions." He squeezed my hand and patted my head. "I will." After dinner, Vincent drove me home. As I opened the door to leave, he suddenly pulled me back. "Wait." I paused, turning back. He leaned in. His features up close were breathtaking. Nervously, I gripped the car door and held my breath. The car lights started flickering for some reason. In the dim and bright atmosphere, Vincent edged closer, so close I could feel his breath on my collarbone. I bit my lip and nervously closed my eyes. But no warm touch came. Instead, I heard a click from my waist. My mind buzzed open. I misunderstood. He was just unbuckling my seatbelt. How embarrassing. I turned, ready to flee. But as soon as I put one foot down, a force pulled me back. Before I could ask with my flushed face, Vincent leaned in. He was close, nose to nose. Carrie. Vincent's lips were softer than I imagined. They lingered, and even when I got home and collapsed on my bed, I couldn't shake off the feeling of that kiss. It was so sudden. Just when I was happily thinking about deepening our relationship, Vincent got a task. We had to start a long-distance relationship. The team has a mission, setting out tomorrow. My heart lurched. What exactly is the task? Although I admired the rescue team, I couldn't help but worry now that I was involved. Vincent watched me for a moment, then smiled. Just delivering supplies to the neighboring city, don't worry. That area has been rainy, with flood risks, but they have enough people. I'm not directly involved this time. I let out a silent sigh of relief. Stay safe and keep in touch whenever you can. Vincent ruffled my hair and said softly, will do. His gaze turned deeper, reminding me of last night's sweet moments, making me blush again. Vincent gave me one last gentle kiss on the cheek. Wait for me to come back. Although Vincent told me not to see him off, I secretly learned his departure time from my mentor. When I arrived, the rescue team members were getting on the buses, ready to leave. Many young couples around were saying tearful goodbyes. I rushed over and quickly spotted Vincent in the crowd. Vincent. I waved my hand frantically, afraid he wouldn't notice me. Vincent's back stiffened, and then he turned to meet my gaze. Through the crowd, our eyes locked. Carrie? Vincent walked against the flow directly to me and pulled me into a hug. What are you doing here? His chin rested on top of my head, and his unique faint scent made my heart race slightly. My mentor told me. You must come back safely, and don't forget to message me. He nodded without hesitation. With the blaring horn urging his return, he patted my head and walked off briskly. A nagging feeling of unease lingered. Why were the girls around crying like that? With Vincent gone, I returned to work after my break at the hospital. Before my shift, I circled 2 days on the calendar. This was the second day since Vincent left. The signal on his end seemed poor, as his replies to my texts were intermittent. Now I truly understood what missing someone deeply felt like. The hospital was bustling, leaving no room for checking my phone. It was only when I could take a breath in the afternoon that we received an emergency meeting call. Each seat in the room had a proposal in front of it. Everyone's probably heard by now, our hospital needs to send 5 doctors to support the neighboring city. Who's willing to go? Of course, we'd. I couldn't help but blurt out, boss, hasn't the flood been controlled over there? He sighed, no, it's still out of control. Rescuers went in waves, and many are injured. Carrie, haven't you been online lately? I swayed, barely hearing the rest. My heart felt like it was clenched tightly. In a panic, I pulled out my phone, opening the chat with Vincent. He hadn't replied since yesterday. I clenched my jaw. I'll go. Vincent, wait for me. You better be okay. I didn't tell my parents about going to help. As a doctor, you're not in immediate danger, so there's no need to worry them unnecessarily. On the way to the neighboring city, I anxiously refreshed my phone. The number of people getting swept away, electrocuted in the water, or drowned was increasing. And still, no news from Vincent. I couldn't help but wipe my eyes every now and then, eventually getting noticed. Carrie, are you scared? My long-held emotions finally broke free. Tears burst forth as I choked out the words. My boyfriend went to deliver supplies there. It's been days without a word from him. Everyone rushed to comfort me. Someone in the crowd said, the city's now only letting people out, with government-ordered supplies. Your boyfriend is. He didn't finish, but but my mind exploded. No wonder. No wonder he hesitated when I asked about his task. No wonder the morning I saw him off, people were crying as hard as they were. Vincent lied. Desperate and furious, I could only vent my anger through messages. With red eyes, I sent him a breakup text, liar. If I don't find you, we're through. I'll marry the first guy I see when I get back. You'll regret it. Tears fell onto my phone, splattering on the screen. My colleague sighed gently, trying to console me, but their words went unheard. Finally, we arrived, and my first instinct was to look for Vincent in the crowd. There was no sign of him. But I couldn't leave my post to find him, the hospital needed every hand. Forcing myself to stay calm, I focused on treating the patients. Afterward, I searched the list of admitted patients. Everyone affected by the flood had been sent here. Nervously, I flipped through the pages, my fingers trembling slightly. Thankfully, Vincent's name wasn't on the list. Burying my face in my hands, tears still found their way through my fingers. No news is the best news right now. The following days, I kept texting Vincent, telling him my exact location. But every message vanished into the void, not a single response back. 2 days later, I finally got the chance to head to the disaster site. I signed up without hesitation. Today, I have to find Vincent. Alive, I need to see him. Dead, I need to find his body. With the medical kit on my back, I headed out. When the cars couldn't continue, I got off with the main group. The water's been here for about a week, even where it's not too deep, it's up to an adult's thigh. Hang on to the ropes, everyone. This part is hard to cross, don't fall behind. The flood waters were rushing. My first step into the water almost had me tumbling along with it. Water and fire show no mercy. I shuddered to think how hard Vincent's days here must have been. Everyone gave it their all. It took a full half-hour to cross just over 100 meters. The situation in the disaster area was even worse, with injured people clutching themselves and groaning in pain everywhere. Rescuers in raincoats, getting into the water countless times, were everywhere. And we were there, providing medical help to everyone. Stopping the bleeding first, then stabilizing where we could. At least it bought them some time to get to the bigger hospitals. I kept looking up, hoping to spot any rescue team members. While stabilizing a man's broken arm, a commotion erupted in the crowd. Quick! A rescuer's got a metal wire stuck in them. My grip tightened, and I hurriedly secured the bandage. All right, don't move, I'll go check. Seeing the person, I instantly exhaled a sigh of relief. It wasn't him. But a second glance caught me off guard again. Isn't this Vincent's teammate? They should have been on a mission together, he must know where Vincent is. Pushing back my anxiety, I started administering first aid. The wound was too deep, he'd probably need hospital care. Nobody replied to my words. I could only disinfect and do some immediate care. The place wasn't fit for surgery. Raising my head, I was stunned. Throat tight, I struggled to speak. Finally, wiping a tear, I continued focusing on saving lives. The figure across stood for a long time. Eventually, he left when others called for him. Not until dinner did I see that yellow rescue suit again. Tears dripped into my instant noodles. I chewed but couldn't swallow. Carrie. I couldn't hold it anymore, sobbing while hugging my noodles. All the fears of the past days poured out. Vincent, half kneeling, hugged me. I'm sorry for worrying you. I pounded Vincent's chest, but no words of blame came out. He didn't do anything wrong, what could I scold him for? After calming me down, Vincent quietly explained. Sorry, my phone was washed away by the flood. I was about to cry again, but when I took out my phone, it started dripping water too. Vincent gave me a C. Look. I couldn't help laughing through tears, but you shouldn't lie to me. Yes, I was wrong, I won't lie again. Stop crying, I was wrong. Vincent cradled me, whispering gently. The rain finally stopped. Vincent and I returned to our respective tasks. He searched for people, I saved them. Vincent's teammates were stunned when they saw me. After a while, one gave a thumbs up, "Sis, you're amazing." A week later, we finally made it back home. When we got inside, my parents were shocked. "Where's this homeless person from? Get out, get out." Thinking of the past day's hardships, I sulked, calling out Mom. My mom was stunned, patting her legs and yelling toward the bedroom. "Come see what's up with our daughter." When I said I went to the disaster area, Mom teared up, patting me 3 times. "You kid, such courage." Dad, eyes red, scratched his head with a long sigh, staying silent. I was just glad Vincent and I returned safe and sound. Before bed, I whispered to Mom. "Mom, I really have a boyfriend." Half asleep, Mom replied without interest. "Remember to empty the water in your brain tomorrow and stop dreaming." The next morning, I put on makeup and wore a nice outfit. "Mom, could you wear that red one?" "Dad, could you swap those holy socks?" The house turned into chaos because of me. Dad got scolded a lot. Once they finally changed, just as they fumed wanting to scold my rebellion. The doorbell rang. "Go open the door." "You go." I stared firmly at Mom. "Lazy, no wonder no one's dating you. You'd be a burden even married." Mom muttered as she opened the door. When it opened, I heard my professor cheerfully add, "We don't mind." Vincent brought a load of things, filling the doorway. Mom turned back, looking at me in a daze. "What's going on?" I pointed at Vincent with a smile, "My boyfriend." And then at the professor, my professor and future father-in-law. 3 minutes later, 6 of us sat down. My parents still in shock, my professor started. "Today's visit might be sudden, but it's the kid's idea. How do you find our son?" Vincent swiftly continued, "Aunt, I promised to treat Carrie well. All my wages and bank cards are hers. Every research paper my dad writes will have Carrie's name." My parents eagerly nodded, "We agree. Just don't ask for returns." Finally, Mom proudly told me. "See, Mom set you up well with this match, right? But Vincent, you're not photogenic, you look better in person." Seeing my frantic eye signals, Mom noticed something was off, sheepishly went silent. But too late. Mid-meal, I went to the restroom, and Vincent cornered me to the wall. "So I heard you went on a date, huh?" I knew karma would catch up. Vincent, gritting teeth, stared. "Tomorrow, we're getting the marriage license. Legal status before any lessons." After getting the license, Vincent sat in the car, staring at the 2 red booklets. I waved a hand in front of him. "We're married. What's on your mind?" "Hey." My hand playfully waving got caught. Suddenly, he pulled me into his arms, his chin lightly rubbing my head. "Honey." "Yeah? Why did you run off to the neighboring city that time?" "It was dangerous. If something happened to you, I would've." I put my hand over Vincent's mouth. "The fact that we're both back safe is the best outcome." Vincent stayed silent. I snuggled into a comfy spot in his arms. Actually, my life was saved by the rescue team back then, too. I recounted the events that happened. When I finished, Vincent suddenly kissed me without warning. He only pulled back when I started tapping his shoulder because I couldn't breathe. "What's up with you?" Vincent, with reddened eyes, softly kissed my lips again. Back at the department store, when we were ready to evacuate, a kid said there was a sister inside. I carried her out. I was shocked and stared at Vincent, looking him up and down. "What a coincidence." Vincent chuckled. "When I saw you at home that day, I recognized you right away. Too bad you didn't remember me. Why didn't you say anything?" "I was afraid you'd think I was using it to impress you." Later. Vincent posted a picture of us on social media. My wife, personally rescued by me. Not to be outdone, I posted the same picture. My husband, personally picked by me.